I'm in my 80s, and this is my advice for people in their 40s and 50s. Believe me when I say this, you are not old.
Really?
40, not old. 50, definitely not old. And I'm in my 80s and I'm still having a brat girl summer. Out every night, having fun, getting dressed up, meeting new people. In fact, in your 60s, studies show that women are even more confident than men. Cheers. When I reached my 60s, I was definitely more at peace than I was in my 20s. I'm 80 now, and I've never felt younger. It's not about getting old, it's about having fun.
Wow, look at you. Go, girl. That's what's up. That's awesome. She's 80? Man, she does not look 80. She looks good for her age. Wow, that's awesome. Well, if you haven't guessed it, we are talking about more mature folks giving advice to 40-year-olds, or even themselves if they could, when they were 40. So I'm a millennial. I'm at that age. Thought I'd do a video on this one. As always, if you like the content, consider subscribing. Hit that like button if you found any value from this video. And as always, thank you for your attention. All right, let's get to this video. Man, like I said, I'm an elder millennial, so I'm right at this age, and I'm noticing and I'm feeling a lot more confident, a lot more sure about myself. And the biggest change for me from 30 to now 40 is I understand my time. Whereas before, for instance, in my 20s and 30s, I was more interested in other people's time and myself fitting into other people's schedule. Whereas now, ain't nobody got time for that. It's really just, if I choose now. I'm not having to follow the crowd. I'm not having to do things that I'm uncomfortable with, but will appease folks in my life or my circle of my COI, my center of influence. No, I've matured a lot more. I'm a lot more confident in myself and my footing in life and where I'm at and my trajectory. It's gonna be a heck of a decade. I can already feel it. So I'm really looking forward to this decade or this season in my life, because I just see nothing but great things, and I'm doing new things even at this age that I didn't even, I'm doing this. I never thought I would do YouTube or YouTube chat or videos like this, but you know what? I thought I'd give it a try. Why not? Right? She's doing it, and she's apparently blowing up, so that's why I decided to give it a shot. And it got me thinking, 40 isn't old, but it is the decade where things start to compound. For myself, I started looking at my retirement account and 401k. I started early on, but now I am really seeing that compounding power, and it's just starting. So I can only imagine what it's going to be a decade from now and onwards. And I respect folks and more mature folks talking about time, because it's the one asset that you can't refinance. All right, well, with that, let's take a look at the comments. Book the trip, ladies. There you go. I love this. I'm 50 and I'm still living like I'm 25, but with a lot more knowledge and experience. Anybody else afraid of dying, though, or is it just me? I'm 42, and the existential dread is intense. Somebody sounds like he's going through a midlife crisis. So 42 replies. Let's take a look at what's going on here. Not afraid of dying, terrified of leaving my kids. Hope you're okay. It's awful. X. I think most people fear death. I personally don't, as I'm really tired and would appreciate the downtime. See? It's all a matter of perspective. I just turned 42 and I'm freaking out a bit lately. It is what it is. You are never too old, and it's never too late. I'm going to be 40 in November, and I feel amazing. I'm with you. That's where I'm at in my life too. So with that, let's check out the next video.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
How does it feel to be 43?
I feel it. When you're young, you don't think about your body, and as you get older, you start to think about it.
What is something you thought was really important when you were younger, but as you got older, you realized it wasn't that important?
Materialistic stuff. When you're young, you want all the stuff, and all the name brands. And as I've gotten older, I've realized it's not the things in your life, it's the people in your life.
What had you realize that?
Oh man, when I was in my 20s, I had a dollar amount in my head, and I just knew if I hit that dollar amount, I would just be happy and set for life. And I've hit that dollar amount, I've lost that dollar amount, I've hit it again. It only made me happy for about 2 seconds.
What is something you regret the most in your life?
I have no regrets. I'm today because I've made mistakes, but I wouldn't change any of those mistakes or any of my past because they've all brought me to the person I am today.
So if you could give one piece of advice to someone younger than you, what would you say?
Don't be afraid to try different things. Be open to new experiences and new people and new things.
How old?
That's what I'm talking about. I like her vibe. I like the background too, the scenery. Man, they shot this at a perfect time with the perfect person, perfect place. As it relates to what she was talking about, being concerned about your appearance, that is so true. When I was in my 20s and later 20s, I didn't care in my 30s, but the decade or the season of when I was in my 20s, I would go to Nordstrom, to Macy's, all these big these big department stores, and I'd make sure I'd have the best suits when I go to work and the best shoes and clothes. I would spend so much money on useless things now that I realize it. And now I like going to Costco. I shop for clothes at Costco. So I check out Sam's Club. Those are my shops now. So it's a huge turnaround. And you know what? They're comfortable. They're nice. I like them. So, and they're cheap. That's the main thing. Good quality, good value. I'm on board. So when she was talking about that, it reminded me of that moment in my life and where I'm at now and having to realize I could have saved so much money. But at the time, in life, you're doing your thing. You feel like you have to impress. But now, Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart even. Those are my shops. And I'm still early on in this stage of my life or season, but again, I'm realizing this is the decade where I stopped chasing status. I was mentioning earlier making purchases crazy when I was in my 20s, and now I really chase more stability. I have kids, 3, still fairly young, so I'm preparing for them, and after they finish high school, whatever direction they want to go. So when I was in my 20s, I didn't have kids, so it was just always about me. But now, as I mature, I have more responsibilities. Letting go of that always needing to impress folks and looking for the next purchase, it's gone. It's flushed out of my system now, and now it's more stability and status for my young ones and when they grow up and preparing them and molding them into the good and great people that they're going to turn out to be. All right, with that, let's take a look at the comments here. She is wise, 100%. Dang, I'm 41. I guess my youth will take a dive this decade. Oh, man. Yikes. The people commenting on her looks may need to learn a thing or two about kindness. Life is too short to be that mean and judgmental. Amen. For real. Watching this at 35. Wow, 43. What happens to you when you're 20? You reach your 40s. Stress, tiredness, and wear and tear signs. There you go. I'm 45. My bladder is awful. I could care less what people think of my appearance. All right, let's check out the next video.
For me, I don't want to fuck around, not at 40 years of age. I want to know what someone's intentions are. I want to know what someone's future is. I want to know what someone's next 10 years looks like. And if a person thought that was a bit too kind of controlling and serious, that person can fuck off. Because life's too fucking short for games, especially as you get older. For me...
See, this decade, it's not time to mess around no more. You've been through all that. You've had 4 decades to go through that. Well, 3, you don't count from 0 to 10. 2, from 10 to 20 if you haven't been in relationships that long. But still, I totally get where he's coming from. I don't have to worry about that. I'm happily married. Love my wife. Got great kids. Knock on wood, it's really worked out for me. It just kind of reminds me of what older or more mature folk tell me when it comes to this age. At 40, you stop auditioning for people who don't clap for you. And as it relates to your network and your circle, friendships shift. Quality over quantity becomes real and 100% facts. Before, like I said, back in my 20s and 30s, I would normally care who I surround myself with and the quantity, but now I'm okay with just one or two, or not even. I'm really okay by myself. That's, again, more peace, and I have other things to occupy me and to look forward to now. All right, let's take a look at the comments. Wish this was the norm. I'm 43 and it seems too much to ask, so I've stopped bothering. I know plenty of men who are in their 40s that act like they're 21 and they're still single. I know a few of those myself as well. I'll be 52 next month, and this generation is just so cruel. A bunch of time wasters. So true. Rather be alone than wasting my time or someone else's time. I know my own worth and what I deserve, and if I can't have a special someone who has that respect, then I'll stay alone. I'm so tired of games. I wish people would be honest and could communicate openly. Absolutely. Well said. I'm patiently waiting for the right gentleman. All right, y'all. Wow. These videos were super impactful for me. And if you're in the same boat as me, your 40s aren't about starting over. They're about starting smarter. And another thing, the best investment in your 40s is clarity. Hopefully y'all get that. All right, y'all. Well, with that, remember, make smart moves, not just loud ones. We'll see you on the next one.